The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of man. This is the Age of Darkness. Welcome to the Remembrancers retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse, and we are getting ready for another podcast by opening up some beers. And I'm here today with Jason.
Hi, guys. I tried my first beer today.
Jared.
You're welcome.
And Austin.
P.S. He didn't really like it.
It was good as far as beers
He
go.
said it was okay. That's a raving endorsement.
I believe the actual quote is, "It's okay for beer, which is garbage."
Yeah.
Dog biscuits.
Dog biscuits is true.
So this week, in beautiful fashion, as we run through the different previews of Legions, the pre-order came out, and there's a whole shit ton of stuff out. So we're going to back off the sneak peek previews for a little bit and talk about this weekend, where it's the day after the pre-orders opened up, and I'm looking forward to making the Mark 6 guys into some Firewing tactical support, and it's going to be good.
I mean, everybody knows the Fire Wing is the coolest wing.
I agree with that statement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still haven't read about the wings. I'm going to be honest here.
The Fire
Don't
Wing
worry.
is the cool one.
It is.
Don't
Them
worry.
and the Iron Wing are pretty much tied for first in my mind.
We will have an episode dedicated to it, you can be sure.
to the Fire Wing.
Except
It'll be
to the Fire Wing.
It'll be a 3-hour episode hosted by just Jesse.
Yeah,
Just
it's
Jesse.
6 hours.
You guys.
It's six episodes, one for each wing, then an overview of the Primarch, then one for each unit.
It's like Thousand Suns.
Mind you, the overview of the Primarch won't be any of the Primarch's rules. Just
No.
Jesse explaining why he's the best Primarch.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're all terrible.
they're all terrible people, but
It's true. Although we did talk about earlier when we were just chatting offline that Dorn and Russ pretty much start in the exact same place, but Russ is the one that grows up.
kind of, yeah.
Dorn doesn't need to grow up because there's nowhere to, ascend beyond excellence.
I do think it's
just-
really good for his character because it's so tragic. Like, they both, they start in the same place, like, to the letter what the Emperor says. But then they kind of pass each other going in opposite directions where Russ gets away from that. And it's weird to say, but that's why I really ended up liking Wolfsbane, because it makes him seem like way more mature as a character when you get past the surface level, because he realizes he's made so many mistakes in how he tried to hold to the Emperor's law and letter, and it really screwed him on Prospero, and he kind of learns from that.
And I like it because you see even inklings of it before when Lorgar and Magnus are talking. And Lorgar why can I not remember the name of the book? First Heretic. Jesus. Jesse will edit that out in post.
He won't.
He won't. When Lorgar's like, oh, like everybody fucking wants to like erase me, and like that jackass Russ probably wants to do me in most of all. And Magnus is like, actually, Russ very specifically was like, we've already gotten rid of 2 brothers. I'm not doing a 3rd one.
And Lorgar, you have to be of consequence for that to be
Apparent.
You're not even on the radar, buddy. I'm sorry.
Allegedly, you have to be of consequence. But yeah, no, I've had the same thought that you can kind of see that progression of we are the Emperor's executioners. We accept that we're all created in a lab to do this one job for this one guy. And they, as the heresy progresses, and even a little bit beforehand, they start going like, look, we might have been made to be swords in someone else's hand, but we're fucking thinking sentient beings, and we're going to stop. Like, we're just going to do the right thing. We're going to try to always do the right thing. And that pays off in 40K when they get into a shooting war with the Inquisition over how they're not going to execute a bunch of civilians.
Entertainingly, that didn't go well for the Inquisition at all.
It did not. Spoiler alert. They got rid of a Grey Knight captain, God knows how many other people.
Dude, like 4 of them. Logan Grimnar just jumps on the table and like, fuck this holodeck, and like kills 4 of them at once.
Yeah, don't fuck with the wolves.
To be fair,
Meanwhile,
Inquisition could burn
Dorn
in hell.
kind of gets that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah. Dorn gets that same sort of like, hey, I am going to do exactly what the Emperor says at all times. And at this point in the Siege of Terra books anyway,
To a fault.
he's just losing his goddamn mind doing exactly that.
So, counterpoint.
Fire away.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Immediately prior to the Siege of Terra books, oh man, is it Heralds of the Siege? There's one compilation.
Yeah, Heralds of the Siege.
There's a short in there where Dorn sits down with Valdor and chews him out, essentially, for how
Is it like the 11th hour or something?
something
like
like yeah. I got to reread that whole
Yeah.
book. That was a great collection. But really rips him a new one, specifically for obeying the Emperor's decrees to a T. He's like, you essentially you let your entire, the Adeptus Custodes get, 90% casualties in the webway, holding on to, a vain hope that this was going to work out in there when you knew it wasn't going to. How dare you be so stupid, essentially. I think at this point when in the siege, not to, if you haven't read up to Warhawks, plug your ears here for like 30 seconds. Dorn has been the subject of, you could call it a psychic attack, directed specifically at him, but at the wider populace in general. We see, waves of suicides and murders, people, deaths of despair and madness. And specifically, it was Mortarion kind of, sending the bad vibes from the Lionsgate spaceport, and Jagatai unwittingly to everybody, did Dorn a solid by putting an end to that. But I think at this point, Dorn is saying, "Look, I the Emperor's not helping. I'm going to do whatever we need to do to keep this going, but there's not a lot of hope at this point." So, he brings in Sigismund and, cuts him loose, essentially. God bless.
Okay, but not counterpoint, but adjacent point.
More context.
Adjacent point, you said?
Yeah,
Adjacent point.
Let's go with that. TM registered trademark. I don't think it makes Dorn a bad character. I think it makes him more interesting because it's like kind of this tragic, stubborn progression. Because Russ very specifically says in Wolfsbane, when he's being like terrifically introspective, like, I persecuted Magnus for getting into witchcraft and sorcery, but I still surround myself with, what does he say, like shamans and bone rattlers. Like, that's a little bit hypocritical. But at the same time, something Dorn's, what is Chamber at the End of Memory? It's a short story in, I think, Scions of the Emperor. They've come across this wall that's like guarded by something, and in the Imperial, palace. And it's all fortified and everything, and there's some wacky hijinks going on in there. And this is just like after Dorn's been like, all right, all the librarians could be psychic freaks that are in league with the enemy. Imprison them all. And then this psychically shielded like chamber nobody knows anything about is discovered, and he's like, all right, let one of them out. Let him go deal with it. It's like that meme of like, close the gates.
Open the gates a little.
Open the gates a little. Which seems very apropos for Dorn. But again, plug your ears for a 30-second spoiler. It turns out that there's information that Malkador specifically stuck in there, and then the only two Primarchs to know about it other than him were Gulliman and Dorn, and he wiped the memory of both of them because it dealt with the two lost Primarchs.
Fucking Malkador.
Because Dorn has this idea, maybe if we knew what happened to the two lost Primarchs, we could sort of like figure out what made the other Primarchs go bad. And you don't know specifically what he learns in that room, because eventually Dorn shows up to talk to the one librarian and figure out what's in there. And then he talks to Malkador, who wipes his mind again. And he says like, he doesn't remember exactly what he learned in that room, but he knows had the two lost Primarchs come back, that absolutely it would not have been a good thing. They would have lost the war already, and it needs to stay in that room, whatever it is, the end. And I think that's a really, really good comparison of almost the exact same ideal, because Dorn doesn't see that as a necessity, whereas Lehman Russ is kind of introspective now to the point of like, shit's going south in a handbasket, like maybe I did something wrong, let me think on it. And I love that Dorn like still has this sort of almost tragic stubbornness to him that I think makes him a better character. It keeps forcing him down this path of like more extreme and draconian measures that eventually does like end up like that massive blow at the Iron Cage. I think that's kind of like the culmination of like his character arc.
So for our listeners, we did a big long discussion a couple days ago about I think Stephen brought it up, the Pain Glove. Who you know,
which
has
not really made an appearance in the Horus Heresy books.
It has not. You know, for maybe those who don't know, the Pain Glove is a thing in 40K that the Imperial Fists were into. Is basically basically like in Dune, where you stick your hand in, incredible amounts of pain. You know, maybe you're doing it for penitence, maybe you're doing it to focus or train your mind or gain endurance, whatever it might be. It's a it's a
BDSM box
that hurts, and yes,
for Marines, yeah.
That's very much my take on it. It is a form of masochism. You are, inflicting pain upon yourself, and the fact that it hasn't been brought up in any fashion, mentioned, touched on at all, is really interesting because it maybe indicates that they're going in a kind of a different direction with Dorn's character and the overall character of the Imperial Fists.
Or it might be,
I think maybe not. Where I think this is going, because as Jason said, like this is all setting up Dorn to be more interesting, because he's before all of this, he was just the dummy that got bamboozled and had his whole fucking legion thrown on the wire in the Iron Cage for no good goddamn reason.
Also that whole Istvan 5 thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we haven't heard from Conrad Kurz in 50 years, but I'm pretty sure he's on the level. Let's put him in the second wave.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Making the best decision you can with the information you have.
But not to get into one of my Dorn shitting on phases. You all know I love to do that. But I think what this is doing is it's set him up as this sort of stubborn character doing the Emperor's will, no matter the cost. And I think the Pain Glove will make an appearance because Dorn probably, and I think at some point, at least in the early 40K fluff, kind of admits that he fails at Terra because at the end of the day, spoiler alert, Big E winds up on the life support chair.
That's of course. I mean, that's a failure. That's not your worst case scenario, but it's pretty damn close.
I think what'll happen at some point in the next couple of books, or possibly like early scouring, is Dorn will kind of go across the edge, not into being crazy, but he's going to be like, I've failed. I need to punish myself. Oh, look, a Pain Glove. And you know how these things
kind of
work.
makes an appearance.
Penitence
after the Siege of Terra.
Yeah, it'll wind up being a penitent thing after the Siege of Terra to atone for his failure.
Maybe
or
after the Pain, or maybe after the Iron Cage.
Or maybe after the Iron Cage.
It would make a lot of sense because he does get to the point where he's so stubborn, not just the Iron Cage, but keep in mind too, he almost touches off a second internecine war between him and Gulliman when Gulliman's like, we got to do the chapter thing now.
So that's what I'm getting at here. Mm-hmm. And it's just something that stuck out to me a lot in the War Community article about the Imperial Fists. There's one little blurb. I'm just going to read it real quick. Yeah. It's on Imperial Fists and the Horus Heresy.
Sweet.
Dorn remained unbroken, a mighty stronghold to the very end, but the heresy had well and truly shaken this Primarch once unassailable foundations. At least he still had his mighty legion in all its mustered glory. No one could ever take that away from him, right? So we're going to see a big spat between Dorn and Guilliman over, Legion versus Chapter, what that's going to look like, which, hey, guess what? If you've read any of the 40K books,
but I mean,
Guilliman's kind of bringing back the legions.
It's so, people say new 40K is not grimdark anymore. And I point at that quote from Gulliman when he wakes back up, where he basically just says, everything I worked for was either wrong or a lie. This empire has descended into like stagnant religious fanatics that war with each other just as much as those on the outside. Why did you bring me back? Let me die. And that is such a terrific portrayal of Gulliman waking up and basically seeing Lorgar was right. Like the entire time. It's like in Black Legion where some Chaos Marines stumble across a Black Templar ship and they're like, the fuck are these? The fuck are those bolters? Like, the fuck is this armor? What is it? A tabard? What the hell is that? And Iskandar Khayan like eats one of the brains of one of the Black Templar and gets like a washback and like relays it. And I love Telemakan so much. He laughs so hard he vomits because the word bearers were right. Those assholes were the ones that were right.
That was such a good scene.
Oh my God, that was terrific. Nobody can build a set piece scene like that like ADB can.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
But yeah, that's, you know.
Speaking of ADB, if we want to.
Oh, yeah. Let's
look at that segue.
got a
Well,
Segue
done.
like
job.
professional.
segue. It's almost like we planned that. We didn't.
Jesse did.
So
We're just menials.
yeah, okay. So Siege of Terra, The Echoes of Eternity is loaded in the chamber. And we're hoping to see this here pretty soon.
So about that cover art.
Yeah.
I like so much. Is there any other picture we've gotten of Sanguinius on a cover where he isn't like perfectly like Vogue cover ready?
Yeah, no, there's not. For those of you that aren't looking directly at the Warcom article or haven't seen this one, because I know we've had a pile of stuff come through, it's Sanguinius on the steps in front of the door to the Imperial Palace, and there's just a fucking tide of traitor Marines just running up at him, up the steps.
Ready to die.
And he looks like a fucking barbarian.
It's rough. Like there are holes in his
Big
wings.
Conan energy there.
Yeah, he looks like Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, he's still in that gold armor,
Right.
but he's hunched down. He's got his hair looks like it's just like greasy and nasty.
He looks a little nuts.
It looks like, honestly, like Night Hunter put on his armor and found a pair of wings.
I mean,
He's fucking losing his mind, and I'm here for it.
So again, more spoiler alerts with this. So, you know, reading the Siege of Terra books up until now, this article kind of shook me because it changes a lot of things that you really, had assumed. One article, Zephan, Amit, and Arkenland are on their side of the war as Terra starts to curdle in the grip of chaos. We're firmly led to believe that Zephan's dead at Saturnine.
I gotta admit, this is all you. I did not think he was dead.
Yeah. There's a interrogator, sort of Remembrancer 2.0, who goes to the wall at Gorgon Bar, and she's, just checking things out, has no idea what combat is or anything. And as, right as the Iron Warriors are hitting the wall and shit's going real bad and it's just horrible. And she meets one Blood Angel who's, just kind of chit-chatting with him. And all of a sudden he, tackles her and shields her with his body and ends up, we presumed, getting killed. And she's blinded in the attack, so she can't see anything. But she's talking with this person, and she's with this angel's corpse, and she gets permission basically to accompany this corpse as it gets picked up by the apothecaries for dismantling because it's got like extensive augmetics or something. Yeah. And the guy leaves, and she says, "Hey, who was I talking to?" And they're like, "Oh, that was a Primarch Sanguinius." And they say, "Oh yeah, his name was Zephan." Mm-hmm. So it's at the time unambiguous. Zephan got, which was so poetic. He has this amazing arc across Master of Mankind of reascending to greatness, only to immediately get killed. but I guess he's back.
Count no one dead if you haven't seen their decapitated corpse yourself.
Yeah, even if you've seen the
She was
corpse.
blind.
She didn't have eyes.
She was blind. She couldn't tell. Also, immortal. Yeah, one of his hearts isn't beating. He's got two. It's fine.
Well, maybe Ark and Land just hooks him up to a jump starter or something.
Just had his monkey just jump on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but infinitely more important than those
Yes.
nerds is
Fuck
the
those guys.
next paragraph down. On the other side of the battle is Kargos and Lotara Saren, both still reeling from the quote-unquote death of Karn. And although they're looking at an increasingly likely victory, it's a triumph tainted by the order and the sanity of the traitor legions disintegrating around them.
They say that like there was any to begin with.
Yeah, they're
Just enough to get to Terra.
Point towards the enemy. That's your order.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They got in the parking lot. It was close enough.
It's fine.
Ingron
It's
jumped
like
to
when you
the
take
planet.
a bunch of kids to Chuck E. Cheese. They'll file in nicely. And then it's just Rat Casino. And all bets are off.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this story.
Right?
It's been too long since we've seen Latara Saren too. I
It really has.
Yeah.
And
A Rose Watered with Blood, which was like 2-3 years ago in Christmas.
I need her to shoot another Terminator in the face.
It was good stuff. I know ADB is going to do it justice. Like, I can remember the very last time I had a tiny bit of reticence about something he had to do. Not that I was worried he was going to do it wrong. I just didn't know how. And it was when, if you guys remember, before Black Legion came out and everybody was up in arms like, ADB is going to throw Sigismund under the bus to make Abaddon look cool. And it was absolutely not that. It was fucking awesome because technically, Abaddon won, but it absolutely did not feel like it. Like, it was so well done when Kion checks back in with that dude, and it's just like this madness where he's like, what happened? Where's Abaddon? Did he kill Sigismund? It's like, yeah, he killed Sigismund, but everything went to shit.
As the most ardent Imperial Fist player anywhere.
Just period. End of statement.
Just period.
No, I've read Black Legion. I love that book. I mean, really, guess what? Space Marines aren't immortal. How
Kinda
many
like a Dante?
Yeah. How many instances of would'ves, could'ves, the Battle of Fall is the best example I could think of, or, circumstances, things changing that are outside of your control. Sigismund, how many other Space Marines get old, live long enough to age
To the point where they're not as good as they were.
Yeah.
Right? I think like Dante's not there yet. Like nobody's saying Dante's lost a step.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying Logan Grimner's lost a step and he's over 1,000.
Yeah. You really can't. I find no fault at all with that writing or the portrayal. I think it was fantastic. And it from day one, I pointed this out a while ago. If people would have listened to Sigismund, even pre-heresy, he's like, no, we're always going to be at war. We're always going to be crusading. This is always going to be a thing. Well, guess what, folks? It is. After the heresy, hey, they're not gone. They're not done. I'm going to hang out by the Eye of Terror. Hey, park the phalanx over there. And is there a Black Legion anymore? Nope.
Can we take half a sec to talk about that? Because Jared just reminded me of something that I absolutely love that took me like 2 or 3 readings through to get. At the very end of Black Legion, the whole deal, after he kills Sigismund, is they carve like, we have returned into the Black Sword and send him home to Terra on a ship. And people read that and I think get this misconception that it's like this big middle finger. It's this huge sign of respect because what Abaddon could have done, admitted there was not really a way that Sigismund was going to win that encounter. No. Because he was like 1,000,000 years old, and I love the mental image of Abaddon coming in and being like, your time's over, old man. You're slow now.
Future's now.
Sigismund's like, well, I'm still fast enough to kick your ass. Give me my goddamn sword. But so it's this massive sign of respect because Abaddon could have come back through, wiped out the Black Templar force around the Eye of Terror, and nobody would have known the difference because way out there, like everybody thought Sigismund was crazy. Like, whatever, the traitor legions are gone. And he was like, no.
Fools.
And up to that point, everybody thought he was just like a crazy old hermit that was like obsessed with past.
Big Bruce Willis vibes.
Yeah. But what Abaddon did was send Sigismund back saying like, he was right this entire time. And he didn't have to do that. If he just wiped the Black Templar out, it would have gone, like, nobody in the Imperium would have known any different.
Or hell, he could have just sent a severed head.
Exactly.
I mean, a horrifically mutilated corpse. Like, he let Sigismund die, which is, like, you got to remember, he's in with the Chaos Gods. Dying isn't the end. What happens to your soul is important. And he just, like, he let Siggy's soul go? Question mark? Rather than use it as what would have been probably a real nice boon. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's the thing that gets people turned into demon princes, right?
When you think 10,000 years beforehand during the heresy, Abaddon and Sigismund obviously knew each other, and I'm trying to remember some interactions. They probably did some pretty decent respect for each other.
Even says when Abaddon comes in on the Eternal Crusader, you know, I was looking for you on the walls of Terra. Like, I killed 168 guys looking for you specifically.
So, Jason, at the end of Warhawk, Sigismund fights Karn. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Sigismund wins. And
What?
Sig and Fafnir are they're like on a transport going back to the Palatine, and they're chatting, and he says like Karn was just a warp tainted vessel at that point. He wasn't even a space marine. Like he's not, he's just a monster. I want, and he spent the whole book at this point killing captains, warlords, praetors, just one by one, just decapitating them. That's just his MO now. And he says, I want Abaddon. So I think, over the next 2 books, there's going to be some sort of a almost showdown, and another near miss of Abaddon almost dying again.
Or, I mean, the way it said, I was looking for you on the walls. That could end right there, too. We don't know.
Maybe Abaddon runs away. Maybe he's
and that's what I was thinking. It's like Abaddon might see him in the distance. Like, Horus is dead. Abaddon sees him. Like, if I killed Siggy, this would turn around. But it's time to go.
Because I think Abaddon.
I don't have 10 minutes to spare for this.
As arrogant and delusional as he is, I think Abaddon knows he's not going to win that fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, starting out, and that's too, I think it's a really good point, because it's the other traitor legions blame the sons of Horus for the loss at Terra and spend the next part of the scouring trying to annihilate them at the same time that the loyalists are pushing them back into either the Maelstrom or the Eye of Terror.
Yeah, which is fun. Because
as though
now
all the other legions didn't just massively screw up at the siege. My goodness.
I was about to say, now, as we all know, it turns out it's Perturabo's fault.
The Death Guard, you are worthless.
It's Perturabo's fault. And who do we have to thank for that, ladies and gentlemen?
Horus.
That's right. Lehman Russ.
No.
Because Lehman Russ stabbed Horus with the spear, and that's what's turned him into kind of I sit here and I don't fucking do anything because I'm losing my damn mind, and has all the warp fuckery happens that makes Perturabo be like, I can't fucking, you've literally fucked with math. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I can't work with this guy anymore.
Rage quits this.
Yeah, just rage quits the server.
You literally moved my 10s to the 1s column.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Just
I can't help this guy. I can't help you.
You keep turning the decimal place into an eyeball, and I just can't have that.
And if anybody knows,
he would do
touch
exactly
my calculator again. I dare you. I dare you.
And if anybody knows anything about accountants, which Perturabo absolutely is an accountant,
He is.
you don't fuck with their numbers.
You don't. Combat accountant.
Yep.
Took his ball and went home.
Yeah, really.
Fun times.
Really curious to see how, because this is the second to last book, I believe.
Yeah,
minus any other.
There is one more after this.
Minus any other.
Like the
interlude books that they're going to put out.
Yeah. Going back to Black Legion for a second, I really am looking for the moment in 40K when Abaddon dies exactly as Sigismund calls it.
Like a bitch? I don't know how he calls it.
You will die as your weakling father died, soulless, honorless, weeping, ashamed.
Oh,
Those are Sigismund's last words.
Ooh,
what a bitch.
those are good.
Poetry. Poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting
Which
for
makes me
that.
which makes me interesting because say it again because the kind of might lead us to a little bit of a preview of what we're to expect.
I may have just killed to the tab. Hold on. Here it is.
That's right, folks. It's all live.
The old mark.
All right, here. Yeah. You will die as your weakling father died, soulless, honorless, weeping, ashamed.
Weeping and ashamed. I think might be pretty interesting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if
when they come to light and realize what have I done?
So
well, I mean, that's the great thing everybody says. I mean, we only have it from the Imperial side of things.
Yeah.
But that's what every Imperial source says is, oh yeah, Big E blasts Horus's mind demons away. And Horus goes, oh my God, what have I done? I would never have wanted to. And the Emperor just deletes him because he's like, you fucked up once, you might do it again. I can't.
You absolutely would do it
I
again,
can't take the risk.
Yeah,
So Horus dies regretting everything that came up to that point and is supposedly relieved to have been killed.
As he should be.
Again,
when you got
all
the chaos
Imperial
gods.
propaganda, we'll see what happens. But that does play into the wolf. The wolf spear, though.
Yeah, it's not like he's doing great right now anyway.
Yeah,
no.
The spear is supposed to tell you about yourself when you get hit by it. So that may very well turn out to be an accurate statement of what the end will be like. We'll find out.
And if you would indulge me a bit of headcanon theory.
Just this once.
Just this once, as opposed to
but that's it for the year.
Okay, this is done.
You're cashing in your chip.
Can somebody set a 2-minute timer, please? So this is quietly been.
Wait for it.
I'm going to exceed this. So this has quietly been a sort of headcanon theory of mine because we see it kind of started out just realizing in Saturnine we see, oh man, what's the Mournival or he's a member of the Mournival, the Justarian captain Falcus Kyber. We see him die, decapitated, unambiguous death. Big, and in the books he's not described as warp tainted much at all. He's just a normal dude who just wears Terminator armor and does stuff. And then Nathaniel Garrow cuts his head off, and a bunch of black ichor demon fluff just spews out of the neck stump. And turns out, oh, by the way, he's Garrow says, "You poor bastard." He was very clearly warp tainted, and maybe didn't know it, or maybe the Sons of Horus were just so fucked up at that point that
1 minute remaining.
Yeah. Better change that to a 10-minute thing.
Yeah, go for it. We got time.
He was so screwed up and so messed up that, nobody realized it. And we see him in the Talon of Horus at the very beginning. He meets with Kaon and some of the other cast members there, and he's got talons coming out of his forearm. He's clearly got some warp tainted stuff going on. And he's, been called back from the warp at least once. And we see, going back to Saturnine, we see Eidolon get kicked off it was 1,100 meter fall by Sigismund. And he is allegedly in 40K. I know. Shut up, Austin. We've already reached 2 minutes. We see Karn, who's been brought back, a baker's dozen times. At this point, we see, Lucius the Eternal. We see folks who get brought back again and again and again. And maybe they're not, maybe they're more tainted than we realize. Maybe, and people don't even treat them as, crazy warp tainted creatures. They're just, oh yeah, that's Falcus. He's back. No biggie.
Yeah.
Well, it's the warp fucking with them, right? Because we see that with the Death Guard too in Mortis.
Yeah.
I don't think this is really any spoilers because I don't remember any of the characters, any of the Death Guard names. But like
None
a
of them
guy
are
is like,
memorable.
wow, actually, I really liked all of them. But one of them is like, holy shit, that guy's got a little like demon familiar and he looks like absolute garbage and it smells like fucking death. And this whole fortress just looks like a rotting piece of shit. And then by the end of it, like he starts hitting a point where he's like, I remember there being something wrong with this building, but it seems perfectly normal now. And like he gets given like he was yelling at like the Nurgling that some guy had, and he gets given like his own Nurgling, and he's like, "This thing's adorable. I've only had this Nurgling for one day, but if anything happened to it, I would kill everybody in this room and then myself." And it's just like that's that warp twisted, and he's like by the end of his arc. He sees nothing wrong with it. He's like, yeah, I'm a fucking plague marine now. This is great.
No biggie.
And
All
like,
good.
everything happens and the Death Guard are leaving. He's like, has a vague notion that like something may have not gone right. But he doesn't really care anymore because now he's playing Father Nurgle's game, not me, a Death Guard traitor trying to overthrow the Emperor.
Yeah. So in that vein, going back to the Black Legion books, specifically ADB goes into one passage where he talks about why Abaddon is so powerful, where so many other Chaos Warlords have, either gone by the wayside, gotten killed, whatever. Abaddon his star keeps rising. And it's because he refuses to fully embrace demonhood. He refuses to accept, corruption in the way that the traitor Primarchs did. My theory, my headcanon, is that at some point, probably without Abaddon knowing, that's going to go off the rails. He's going to get tainted. Maybe he already is tainted because, I'm sorry, you can only, carve an 8-pointed, star icon into your forehead and, wear all those demonic trappings and have a sword that's literally trying to like drive you insane every moment and surround yourself in the most hostile, environment known to the galaxy for, at this point, thousands of years. That's not going to, that's going to tell at some point.
Yeah. You might get side effects from
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Anyone, Primarch or not, is going to fall, is going to be corrupted at that point. It's going to happen to Abaddon and he's going to get laid low because of it. Because Horus couldn't handle it. None of the Primarchs can really handle it. They're all puppets. They're all subjects to greater powers. And he's going to fall. He's going to have some sort of moment of introspection of seeing what he's become and, versus what he tried to be. And it's just going to, the warp, post-nut clarity is just going to, nuke his mind. That's my headcanon.
So,
rant over.
Yeah. No, it's headcanon.
That's a solid. We'll call it 420 because I did interlude there for a little bit. Solid 420-minute rant.
Nice.
Give me another 69 seconds, please.
69 seconds to figure out. All right, who would replace him?
Oh,
at this point, you can't replace Abaddon.
Yeah.
Like
For 10th edition,
unless like Perturabo comes out of his hidey hole in Medrengard and isn't as fucked up as he probably is.
Yeah.
Because all the, like Jared said, all the other demon Primarchs.
I feel like Perturabo wouldn't be...
Because Pert's playing the same game
He's
that Abaddon
smart,
is.
but
I
I don't feel like he would be enough of a evil, bad guy to really give an emphasis of how... bad chaos. Like,
but
you know
honestly,
what I mean? Like,
I think he'd be a good
villain for sure.
good villain.
But I don't think he would have that same punch that some of the other more
no, he would play the nebulous Overmind. Like it wouldn't be Gulliman versus Perturabo. It would be Gulliman versus Chaos. And you would get the vibe that it's Perturabo, but it would be all of his, it'd be Karn, it'd be Angron, it'd be all the...
It would be like Grand Admiral Thrawn, really great enemy, really great character, but it cannot really be your poster boy for the big bad evil group.
Yeah.
Well, because Thrawn's not a human, and they're all super racist.
Well, I didn't say that too.
So yeah. Hold on. I know exactly the set of circumstances that would cause Pert to take over Abaddon's seat if Dorn came back. 40K Dorn. Pert will claw his way out of the the Eye of Terror.
Pert's like,
that's fair
hell
enough.
no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't any great, like, there's nobody.
Huron Blackheart is number 2.
But Huron Blackheart, as great as he is in the lore, he's a
schmuck.
Yeah, like, he's running,
Space pirate.
He's running the Eye of Terror if you bought the Eye of Terror from Wish. That's what the Maelstrom is. It's Wish Eye of Terror. Like,
I mean, he definitely gets owned by like a single Night Lord's cruiser.
Well, like not a single old like actual Long War Marine.
No.
Like you couldn't get all those guys to be like, yeah, we'll follow this dude.
No.
Yeah, we've gone deeply off the rails now.
But I don't see anybody replacing Abaddon.
Siege of Terra / Black Library.
Yeah,
episode.
It's Abaddon.
Well,
like
they're all linked.
What would be interesting to me is
we've proven that.
Because if Abaddon dies knowing that he's fucked up, his version of fucked up is falling to the Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of the ways you ascend to being a demon prince, you die.
Mm-hmm.
So he could very well, in this act of like Sigismund said, like you're going to die weeping and like just fucking regretting every decision that brought you to this moment. That could be his ascension to a demon prince.
Welcome to being a warp puppet now.
And then he's just full on, they have demon princes of Chaos Undivided, right? He kicks Be'lakor off his high horse.
So you're saying Abaddon ascended.
You could very easily have an Abaddon ascended.
Man.
And that suddenly is somebody Bobby G needs to pay attention to.
Even more so, yeah.
To be fair, or maybe just actively avoid.
I haven't really read any of the like new Vigilus stuff. Because Abaddon has been making his appearance and just been,
he
kicking shit.
Kicks Marnius Calgar's ass.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for that.
Marnius needed to.
I'm sorry. I started playing with the. We'll not go into that.
I don't necessarily think Abaddon could take Guilliman, but I think that's a coin toss.
But that's a thing. And in my mind, in the perfect moment, Bobby G does kill Abaddon because at the end of the day, Abaddon is a Marine because he keeps not embracing the chaos gifts. But at some point, he makes that pact of like, when I die, you get my soul. And the chaos gods are like, Bobby G brings that big ass sword down and suddenly Abby finds himself in the warp with leathery wings and, fancy claws and a tail going, damn, fuck me. And like, you could have a whole thing where like, his whole arc now is, I'm going to get back at Bobby because he did this to me. And, he's a warp puppet. He's a puppet of Chaos Undivided. And that's how they get to him to do all of their nasty things.
So Black Library, the price for this story will be, what do you think? $10,000? I think that's fine.
Are you high?
Fine, 50 cents. It's okay. Just give me an audible credit for the new Chthonia's Reckoning. I would settle for that.
Maybe just name an Imperial,
I want
name
grateful thanks.
Captain Jared and you'll be good to go.
Oh, Jesus.
Grateful thanks in the post credits.
Yeah. Honorable mention.
Yeah.
And make Jared an Imperial Fist captain that is immediately murdered by somebody writing about chaos to show how badass chaos is. As all good 40K Imperial Fist captains are.
They get no love.
We progress the narrative, guys. Hooray.
Hooray.
Here we are, forging it.
All right. So let's go back to the original. So we were talking about what, new box set and everything coming out. What are you guys going to do with it? Have you guys got it? Or you ordered it? I should ask first. Or with the new edition coming out.
Oh, I'm getting the box set, getting a Kratos. I've kind of got a list in mind. Like
Okay.
2 Kratos and like 40 or so TAC Marines.
You're doing the squadron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And, is I've already got, a Volkite caliber support squad painted up, have just a lot of shooting and then maybe one, that's my anvil and then maybe one hammer of like a Terminator squad that can deep strike in and,
Check
do unpleasant
that
things.
Adorable little rotor cannon.
They're really good.
I
They're
missed
so
that
good.
before now.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
special weapons kits. Yeah.
Yeah, check that little dude out.
Yeah, as a militia player, I'm deeply upset that that's a thing.
And now has pinning and shell shock.
The rotor cannon is the bane of all militia. And now, it used to be, you had to go to Forge World, you buy them 5 at a time. They weren't good. They weren't good against Marines, so people weren't really taking them. Except now they're going to be in every goddamn box set. And I know that you bastards are going to be like, I'm going to magnetize my special weapon squads. And next thing I know, whenever they release the militia rules, it's going to be rotor cannons for days.
Guilty as
Sons of
charged.
bitches.
No, I'm not doing that. That's nonsense.
No, Volkite calibers on Firewing and,
Yeah. Volkite calibers going to 3 shots each, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about
Yeah,
that.
buddy.
It is good business.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I heard that these the special weapon, the special weapon upgrade kit apparently is a little bit difficult to get onto the Mark III and IV. I don't know. I heard some people say that.
I could definitely see that.
I could see that too, especially with the left arm being on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I need to get in my hands first to really make it. Because I feel pretty comfortable with a hobby knife and some green stuff.
And that's the thing. Like, if it's something where like, they don't fit with the arms completely flush to the thing.
Come on, bro.
Whatever.
Green stuff,
but you can, do it slightly and then move the shoulder pad a hair and
Yeah,
it's fine.
like, do it.
That's much different from like, there's a 1/4 inch gap that you can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do what everybody else does. Like, slice tiny sequential little like ham slices off the shoulder pad mounting point or the wrist until it fits. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to get in my hands and I'll take a video. We'll figure this out too at some point.
Yeah.
And we got the missile launchers and heavy bolters. The other heavy weapons haven't come out yet, but I didn't get any of these because, good God, I have enough from my Mark IV and Mark
Don't you
III
already
kits.
have a squad of each?
I got a few of these, and I like my Mark VI like sleek and fast. So special weapons are kind of more their thing. The heavy weapons, it looks cool.
They look good. Yeah.
Looks great, underslung.
And they'll be fantastic for people that are getting into it, right? We've seen a lot of those posts from things being like, oh yeah, I wasn't in Horus Heresy because it's been 4 years since the last box set. 5? When was the last box set?
It's been a while.
Wild.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think.
17?
It's been a while.
2017?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe 2018. I don't know.
So it's been, we'll call it 4
It
years.
was before Henry was born, so it was 2017. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
So 2017, they die out in 2018. There's been plenty of people that have gotten into the hobby like full stop since then.
Yeah.
So here in America, guys.
So this is great.
Dude, it was 2016.
Oh, shit. The Mark III and
Jesus
Mark IV
Christ.
tacticals are now going into 20-man box sets. And
Ooh,
they're
I
$80
missed
US
that.
dollars a piece.
Less.
Which is
40. So they're $15 per 10 cheaper now. When you buy them in a pack of 2 for $80.
because they were what, 55?
They were 55.
55 for 10. Yeah.
And now they're 80 for 20.
That's
And I'm
Beautiful.
willing to assume that they were just the same old kits where
They
they
look
still
like,
have the special weapons and
so you're still
stuff.
going to get the special weapons. So no Nuncio Vox, but special weapon and heavy weapons because you'll still get the missile launcher and whatnot in there too.
Yeah. Granted, you won't get the full set to make an actual squad, but you're going to have, if you have anybody who's been in the heresy for a while, they're probably going to have a few spares. I know I got some.
They got a few missile launchers sitting around.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about that.
But that's delightful that they've pushed those to 20-man too, rather than just keeping them at 10.
It makes me wonder when they come out with the Mark VI guys, are they going to be $80 a pop?
obviously.
Right. Oh,
Obviously,
yeah,
obviously,
They
right?
probably will because they won't have heavy weapons or special weapons
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Like, well, they'll have the same amount of cool stuff though, because these kits, while they'll give you a heavy and a specials weapons, they won't give you chain bayonets or regular bayonets, which because now those are rules,
That's true.
but the Mark VI will. So it does behoove you to play a little mix and match, because if you get a box of Mark VI, you get enough for 20 bayonets and 20 chain bayonets, which then you can pass on to your Mark III and IV squads.
if you get the box set,
Or if you get the box set.
At
you'll
a discount of, like, if you go to your friendly local game store, I'm sure you can find it 10% off at some point and not use the beakies, but get, 40 chain bayonets and regular bayonets and do what you will alongside your Spartan and your,
it's
and
such
your
a good
Contemptor
deal.
and your rule book.
It's $300
And your 10 Terminators.
And your 10 Terminators.
and it's somehow still a good deal.
Yeah.
Because we'd mapped this out ages ago when the box set first got a reveal, and we were
$500 plus dollars worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's a solid like $180, $200 off.
And it's not going anywhere. I mean,
No, it's not.
that's just wonderful.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that even if I never buy one of those box sets, I'm so happy to see it because it's going to make it so much easier to get into for people that essentially their only complaint for years is like, because I hear it from 40K players all the time, like, yeah, like it looks cool and stuff, but isn't it just Marines on Marines? And then you have to buy all of that forge roll resin, which is just nonsense because...
So for 2.0, the first part's a little correct right now, but it ain't going to be that way soon.
No. And again, like,
It's the box sets are a great place to start. And quite honestly, I think our next episode should be, so you're new to Heresy. Here's what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Because it's what, 1,500 points, 1,700 points, something in that range.
Yeah.
It just makes me real happy to see.
Yeah. Because it's the same. I'm the same way. Like,
I would be, if that, so my first box set was, or my first intro into Heresy was the Betrayal at Calth box. Because, like you guys, I'm not going to buy that Forge World stuff. Thanks. Sorry.
buying them 5 at a time is rough.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
boy.
yeah, got my hand on the Betrayal at Calth. Super excited. Got the shit kicked out of me with everybody because everyone had armor.
Right.
And I don't think I even had a Rhino to go with that. But then I got into tanks, as you guys can.
Yeah, I will say.
What?
Then
And I feel like they learned from those first 2 boxes, because those first 2 boxes, you get a dreadnought and it might have like a anti-tank weapon.
You
And
immediately need to buy more stuff.
yeah, like if you run them as vets, you can have a melt in there or whatever. But you buy this box set, that fucking Spartan is all the anti-tank you need at 1,500, 1,750. So like you're right there with not the like competitive 30K, right? But with a list that won't get you ruffle stomped off the board immediately, no matter what sort of event you go into at that kind of points level, which is delightful.
This has a great makings of a first player's, kitchen sink list.
Yeah. And God, I'm already seeing like online in chat, people are being like, yeah, like I'm going to buy it, but I really I don't need the 40 Marines, or like I don't want the tank or whatever. And just this aftermarket.
That's what it's all about.
The happy times. Because people are saying like, oh man, this Spartan is great. And I've got 40 Marines and 10 Terminators, but I want to mech up the Marines and I don't know what to do. Bro, you'll be able to buy 3 Spartans for like $5 on eBay if you wait a couple of months, it's
going to be so weird picking that thing up and not, bracing myself for the resin brick of the Spartan.
And that dread, which is just so good.
Okay, I'm going to date myself with this.
Okay.
But I know it's real bad because I'm old enough to know that starting out with those resin forge roll kits, there was such a huge disparity in size between the tactical Marines from 40K, like the little 10-man, plastic kits that came out, I think, in a while ago.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Then they had they changed them up when I got into about a year or 2 in. So I want to say 2011, 2012, they had a refresh of the tactical Marines.
So the forge roll resin kits were actually quietly upgraded halfway through, and it wasn't just like Mark V armor anymore. It was Legion Mark V, where they actually, and it's a very small, inconsequential detail. You can tell the difference between a Legion Mark III and a old school resin Mark III by the shape of the toes. Their toe boots are rounded in the old resin Mark IIIs, but they have sort of this pointy, I don't know, ship prow thing going on with the
My God, you're
Legion
right.
update.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I noticed that when I was first getting into it. I was like, oh, that's curious.
Completely useless fact you'll never not know.
Yeah.
From here on in.
Taking up brain space for the rest of my life.
Legion feet for the rest of my life. Thanks, Jason.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and first of all, I'm kind of one of those people. I don't have an immediate use for most of the things in that box set.
Because you've got 10,000 points of Imperial Fist already.
Yes.
I think we're all in the same boat right now.
Yeah.
However,
my Nova army is going to be Warhawk themed. It's like Templars and a bunch of Despoilers and Phalanx Orders.
which are looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
Post them on Instagram this week.
Thanks. But this, I'm looking at sort of a kitchen sink list of like 40 tacticals. Not necessarily the Spartan, but I'm picking up one of the Kratos. I'm going to try to get a second one, and just having them put a lot of firepower out. Maybe a Volkite support squad, and a couple dreadnoughts to buff up the squishy tacticals, and then maybe one have the Terminators act as the hammer of the anvil and sort of deep strike in once things get nice and close. But pretty basic list. But that's I want to do something that's fairly straightforward, because the list the army I'm currently painting is nuts, and is going to be either like hey, I do great or I do terrible based off of like reserve rolls. So I want to have something that's more standard.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Austin? Did you get this box set?
I think I'm the only person at this table that pre-ordered nothing.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, all right. I pre-ordered nothing. I will say though, the only reason I'm not is because I'm going on Hajj in July. Going to
Warhammer World.
Going to England, going to Warhammer World, and as we've said, it's a fucking amazing deal in the U.S.
It's even better. in
However,
UK. With US dollars,
it is £180 for the box set in the UK. Presumably because you're not having to ship it over to the US or pay double tariffs or whatever the difference is. It is, the actual pound to dollar conversion rate is very friendly.
Damn you, NAFTA.
Right? NAFTA, Brexit, who knows what happened here. But it's like $70 cheaper in the UK.
oh goddamn!
And everything like is kind of that percentage cheaper to go to the UK and buy it. And I'm guessing that I doubt it'll sell out anywhere for any length of time. Like
Especially at Warhammer World.
Yeah.
You could
And
probably,
like least of all Warhammer World.
it's like, you got one in the back? They probably have one in the back.
And like I'm going, 3 weeks after launch, I think, right? 16th, and I'm going on like the 4th or 5th of July, depending on what my actual itinerary winds up being. So even if they do like have that day one, all the product is gone, they'll have enough time to restock, and
they'll make you one fresh off.
Right.
I
was just going to say,
plastic's still warm.
how would it be to like, just roll across? It's like, oh, we're sorry, sir. We're out of kits in the back. Here, let's grab Andy Clark out of like the lunchroom. He can take you in the back and pull you one off the conveyor line.
God willing.
Hey,
yeah.
let me heat up the shrink wrap for you there.
Yeah, right. Like, don't bother. Shrink wrap it. Give it to me.
I'll wear it out. Thank you very much.
I got to take it out of the box to shove 3 of these in my suitcase anyway. I plan on going on a absolute fucking bender. Because it like box set, Kratos, upgrade kits, Forge World, Adeptus Titanicus stuff. All of it is naturally cheaper over there than shipping it across the pond. And I did like the rough math on everything that I personally wanted, which is admittedly a lot. Like I have plans for AT events that I need like a bunch of carapace weapons for, the whole thing. And it's, I think, $300 less for me to go over there and buy it.
Yeah, and you were going over there anyway, so
yeah, like admittedly, like it's $1,000 ticket.
You saved,
you got to buy a lot to make the ticket worth it.
Sure.
And I'm not coming back with a warlord or anything.
And then you can just grab another box when you get over here.
Right. Well, like $300 cheaper. I'm waiting 3 weeks.
Yeah. No, that's.
I don't actually have a lot of use for the starter set as well, because my wolves I have about 60 space wolves, infantry, just basic gray slayers. But it is so cheap that I am probably going to get one. Like comparatively so cheap, I am probably going to get one while I'm over there.
Plus with the rule book, I'm not sure when they're going to release the rule book as is.
Honestly, I can't imagine the rule book being more than 2 weeks delayed.
That's fair.
Like that
That
they're
being
going to have
said-
the release and be like, oh, you can now pre-order the rule book, or maybe a week after.
Yeah. That being said, with the rule book probably being around $70 USD, like the other Liber Astartes books here, you know,
I think the math on like $18 cheaper.
Still worth it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I love a quick reference sheet, and that's not going to be in the rule book when you just buy the rule book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to grab some of that, going to grab some Kratos, going to grab the special weapons, because honestly, what I'm envisioning in my head, Space Wolves, I'm going 8th Great Company this time.
Okay.
Which is all the great companies do everything, right? There's only 13 of them. They just do. But the 8th is specifically well known for its reconnaissance units.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have Marine recon squads, sniper rifles in the old Rogue Trader camouflage style.
Awesome.
Yes. The basing scheme is going to be kind of Endor, kind of forest kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So they'll be in the green tiger stripe camo of as a homage to an old black and white Space Wolf, where they've got a fucking banner that says like covert on it. Here's our banner. It says covert.
You can't
we're
see
sneaky.
It. That's awesome.
So I'm going to do that. And then depending on what I wind up doing, or if in their infinite wisdom, GW blesses me with a biker or jet bike plastic kit in the next month, or rumors thereof, I'm going to have either bikes or jet bikes or some mix of those two as kind of the main fighting force of the list. Just because nobody really does that for wolves. And admittedly, Space Wolves as a legion are adverse to doing anything not on their own 2 feet.
Yeah, that's fair.
They don't really trust anti-grav technology. They don't like jetpacks. Like, that's for fucking blood claws that don't know a goddamn thing.
Yeah. Fenris would have given us wings.
Yeah,
blah,
like
blah, blah.
had the All-Father wanted man to fly, etc. But my headcanon for this, because I've started reading again all of my old Space Wolf stuff.
Yeah.
Is that these guys are going to be either from Asaheim itself, the one continent that doesn't seek below the waves, or the Iron Islands, which are right off the coast of that and also don't constantly get shot to shit by volcanic eruptions and tidal waves and all that nonsense. So between that the Iron Islands are a little more advanced, like Fenris as a whole is very Viking-esque.
Yeah.
The Iron Islands and Space Wolf, the old Space Wolf book, are a more high-tech society, not, top tier, but they've got motorboats and they've got stuff like that on occasion. And then presumably the people on Asaheim have sled dogs and sleds and all of that. So I'd feel like those sort of cultures would gravitate more towards I'm in a small boat, and that's kind of like a jet bike, or hey, I fight on a sled with a sled wolf. That's kind of like an attack bike, right? So that sort of cultural shift that would make them more willing to do it, which will be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And I'm going to do up them maybe a lighter gray, because I've been hoarding the wolf spear transfers from that white dwarf.
Yeah.
And it's kind of perfect because the Heresy Recon sigil for the Space Wolves is a wolf's head that's white.
Yeah.
And the wolf spear icon is a white wolf's head with 2 red spears.
Perfect.
And spears, that's an obvious cavalry kind of thing, which is what the bikes and jet bikes are going to be. Kind of style the list itself around a World War I cavalry division, which is sort of the reconnaissance breaking stuff. I know I'm out of my goddamn mind.
They always won their battles.
So what you're saying is
you say
have a
that,
plan.
you say that, but World War I cavalry divisions were actually wildly good at their job, which is why nobody ever managed to outflank anybody else. And then once I don't have time to give you a 2-hour lecture on World War I cavalry operations, trust me, I'm a history major.
So am I.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do some deep dives, some bonus episodes on
yeah.
that then for sure.
So that'll be fun. So weirdly, none of this stuff makes it into my list. Like I'm going to use Mark 6 for the Recon Marines.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of sniper rifle variant pattern bolters to make that interesting. And then I'm also going to pick up the special weapon kit because I've been slowly acquiring attack bikes from Battlegrounds used.
Yeah.
And I want to give them Meltas. So I'm going to take the special weapon kit because why not buy one?
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
You're pretty much set when you get one.
Like every other longtime 30K player, I've got a shit ton of Melta. Like I've already got a full 10-man Melta squad, 10-man plasma squad.
Yeah.
So the Meltas and plasma in that are superfluous. So I'm going to use them to convert into biker weapons.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like it'll be real good. And it'll be something different. Like I've never seen a Space Wolf bike list 40K or 30K. So it'll be fun.
I've seen one or two in Nova, but very rarely.
Biker list?
Yes.
Huh.
Maybe it was jet bikes.
Not 30K.
No, 30K.
Will they be pulled by wolves, the bikes?
You shut your goddamn mouth. You know full well my opinion on Grimnir's Sleigh and Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Just a question.
I will say, though, I have painted, I don't know if Jesse's put these on Insta. I need to add that to the feed. Because as part of this fun list, I plan on having at least one as a terrorist.
Yeah.
And naturally, since Space Wolves don't use demons or dirty psychic powers.
Of course not.
I have 5 Fenrisian wolves that I've painted up in kind of ethereal, kind of blue ghosty colors.
Yeah.
To represent the natural power of Fenris that my rune priest counts as a terrorist will be summoning forth to destroy the enemies of the Emperor.
That's a good idea. I need to
summon wolves via warp, crush the enemy, offer no context at all. Good day.
I need some Caliban monsters to.
Yeah.
I'm summoning.
That's going to be a good idea.
I'm summoning demon beasts. What?
Yeah.
Wait, these wolves. But you're summoning demons as bits? I'm not taking questions this time.
You guys.
Huh.
I could make walls. I could summon walls.
Little miniature walls.
You might as well just summon a guy.
I can print out some
who's just got like
clear walls for you.
A list.
Stone walls.
Just get a guy who's got like a form, just a stack of forms. Just paint him like a ghost.
Papers that flying everywhere.
I'm sorry, to proceed with this combat, you got to fill out these forms. Have you filled out your fighting loyalist forms, heretic? No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to freeze you right there until you fill out the forms.
Yeah. Looks like you lost combat by 1.
So yeah, that's my master plan.
Nice. I have a little bit of confession, guys. The entire time I've played Horus Heresy, I have never run a 20-man tactical squad in my life.
What the hell?
I put 10 guys in a rhino, and I would just fill the troops because I just love everything else so much.
So what you're saying is you brought goddamn abominable intelligence into the game before a 20-man tac squad.
I have not run the Excendio. I will not be taking questions at this time. Not yet, anyway.
That's wild.
Looks like
so
it may not.
Are
be
you going to do it now that you have pre-ordered box set? I
have pre-ordered box set. So now that I have these cool ass Mark 6 guys, which I can also get the special weapons for and everything, these guys are going to be my special weapon tactical support and I'm finally going to find a use for all the other Mark 3 and Mark 4 sprues that have been sitting in my closet for a while and just beef up my other tactical squads.
Nice. Yeah, I got to admit, I was looking through my piles of stuff.
Yeah.
Looking for some bits. And I did run across an awful lot of Mark III nuance sprue. Just like, God damn it. Even more Marines.
Jason, thanks for coming by. We're all doing this live, and people have lives, but we appreciate you coming by, Jason. So thanks for hanging out.
Bye, Jason.
Bye, Jason.
Bye, guys.
Okay. What are we doing?
We were talking about all the cool shit that went on pre-order.
But yeah, so the tactical Marines, the Mark 6 guys, they're all going to get special weapons.
Awesome.
The Spartan is just going to be a joy to put together. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've
got no rules. I have no real use for it yet.
No.
I'm not a big fan of assault tanks. they've never done it for me. But yeah, it's like, what am I going to do? Sell it to somebody? No, she's getting painted up and she'll be sexy. I might paint that one like my 11th grade company, though.
Looking forward to the Daredeo being, or not Dare, the Contemptor, all posable in plastic. Can't wait to see what people are going to do with it.
Speaking of fucking dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Speaking of
yeah, we got
there's
check out one of the
plastic Leviathan siege dreadnought.
Ba-da-bum-bum.
And we'll head this off with, people were immediately upset because the glorious pictures of it, well, one, apparently it's not quite built right in some of the initial pictures, per Will. I don't know. But other people were upset because the base model is 2 close combat weapons that beat the dog shit out of you. And all the photos of it in its little reveal, was it with weapons because it's a fucking Leviathan siege dreadnought and it deserves to have 4 autocannons?
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Within 24 hours, somebody was like, here's this other leaked picture of it with 2 fists.
Now, I will say, playing a little bit of devil's advocate, it may not originally come with that, because we know the Contemptor doesn't have quite everything.
It doesn't have quite everything, but I will say I would be slightly surprised if it came without at least 1 close combat arm.
Yeah. Because I think by default, the unit itself.
Yeah, the unit has 2 arms. Yeah. So it'd be a little weird for it not to have at least 1, especially having seen like all the other kits with just that they've got 1,000,001 weapon options.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it, like I said, the general unit layout is close combat weapon.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 close combat weapons?
2 close combat weapon is the base pattern.
That's going to be interesting how they do that, because they usually wouldn't roll out a regular unit or box without.
Yeah, and some people are like, well, it might be like the War Master, that there'll be a box for, or like a lot of the AT Titans.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what it's going to be. I'm calling it now. Here's why. In the Warhammer community article, it's got that Leviathan has like the cod piece has a laurels and a skull on it. And the center carapace has it's like a skull with a bunch of lightning bolts come out of it. Mm-hmm. Now, if we pull up the leaked picture from the book, it's got a little Eye of Horus on the cod piece, which looks like a decal. It doesn't look like a 3D part. And then there's nothing on the front carapace. It's blank. And then on the shoulders, it's got these like little ridges, kind of looks like shoulder pads or something. Check it out.
So it does. Although I will politely disagree on that Eye of Horus being a decal over a raised piece, just because of the way the highlighting is done.
Huh? Maybe.
Not to stare at a dead man's crotch a lot.
That's exactly what you're doing, examining it closely.
Robot's crotch. The dead man cyborg robot
It's true.
crotch.
The dead man's not actually. But if you're living in the robot and you never come out, isn't that technically your crotch? If I kick him in his mechanical balls, does he not feel?
Fantastic question. I don't know.
So in the Glorious Tomb, audio drama, the Leviathan itself is its own machine.
Okay, there you go. Well done.
The machine has its own name. Okay. The person interred in it is just basically living in there for just renting it out, while the machine spirit is its own separate thing.
He's piloting the Gundam.
So you are kicking the machine spirit's crotch.
Very well.
And there's like above, there's like the head, and there's a little like half circle crest above it, and it looks like there's some kind of like laurels or like spikes sticking out of it.
No,
so
I will say
either an upgrade kit or a, because there was also talking about the Contemptor. They were also talking about like a relic Contemptor upgrade. Yeah.
I think there's going to be 2 kits. And the same way there's like 2 Reaver kits, there's 2 War Master kits, there's 2 Warlord kits. I bet there's going to be just 2 different versions of this.
It depends. I'd really need to see the box before I made my final guess, because if this isn't a Contemptor Dreadnought sized box, you expect 2 sprues out of that.
And also from what we know, the Leviathan itself, because people are showing the book and pictures and stuff now. Leviathan has only a single entry.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe there's Leviathan Siege Dreadnought and then maybe a Leviathan Assault Dreadnought.
Yeah,
but doesn't appear to be that case.
But if this is it's not going to be Kratos prices, right?
No.
But if this is the Kratos scale compared to say the Rhino box or like a Predator box, there's certainly going to be room in that for that third sprue of just, here's all the weapons.
Maybe.
And here's, like the Titans, here's your Loyalist piece or the friggin' Spartan, right? In the Kratos, we know that they have Loyalist and Traitor, COD pieces and iconography in both. So is that beyond the realm of possibility?
There's a picture, there's a paragraph in the article that specifically addresses this, though. This posable kit is loaded for ranged combat with a choice of 3 types of arm weapons: the Graflux Bombard, the Cyclonic Malto Lance, and the Storm Cannon, as well as a choice of integrated hull weapons, heavy flamers, or twin Volkite calibers.
Okay.
You even have the option to outfit it with a Phosphex discharger. No mention of melee weapons. I think it's going to be a second kit.
Could be a Warcom thing, but you're right. And it wouldn't surprise me, especially given like take the Reaver. Like how much money is it to buy a Reaver? Like the AT Reaver? 60?
60, yeah.
60? That was probably a very intentional price point for them to hit.
Yeah.
And they went, we can't fit all the weapons into this, so we're going to have another $60 Reaver that has all of the other weapons rather than make a single like $90 kit or $80 kit.
And
so this might be a way to keep the Leviathan.
But they've also done upgrade kits too.
They have.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting to see where it goes, because this is supposed to be like their new flagship game. Everything is going to plastic.
Because I seem to remember.
Will be 2.
I feel like I bought a upgrade kit just fully in plastic for the Warlord. Or am I going crazy? Either
No. They sell the sprues. That's like
the sprue from the other kit.
Yeah, there's like the volcano cannons, APOC launcher, and then the plasma.
And if they're selling sprues of just special weapons and heavy weapons,
maybe
they could do the same
beyond
thing.
The realm of possibility in my head.
Like if this is an $80 model, say, just throwing a price on it, and it's only got the ranged weapons, it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, oh, hey, here's another $80 model with 2 fists and like a third weapon or like whatever's missing out of its armory from this kit, and then go, all right, those are 80. Or if you want to spend $30, here's the weapon sprue from each.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to buy 2 to get all the weapons. You can buy 1 in the upgrade kit.
Like I said,
really, because
Titanicus has set a precedent for that.
Yeah. People love dreadnoughts. Why would you not just buy 1 of each?
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Because I've already got 3.
And yet, Jared, will that stop you? You know it won't.
Maybe.
You know it
I don't
won't.
need 5.
I've got your
You make
shopping
a special
for
character
London.
one for your.
I do need a special character one. He can be the sergeant or something.
Oh, the HQ unit for the Rite of War.
I think that's got to be a contemptor.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
But the fun thing
That's
about
bullshit.
I know.
the fun thing about this, to get away from like when will all the weapons come out, is it's going to be just as nice a plastic sprue as that new Contemptor.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be able to pose the hell out of it, which is delightful. There's going to be spare weapons, which is like a conversion guy. There's nothing that makes me happier than like one of my buddies buying a kit like this and not magnetizing their weapons, right? Like, oh, you've got that Grav Bombard just lying there. Boy, would that make good AT terrain. Can I take it?
A little Necromunda objective there.
Right? Yeah, like, so it's good. It's good.
And, I doubt the Leviathan weapons are going to immediately disappear from the Forge World site. I doubt it.
Bro, I think I have.
Yeah. Like,
Wait, oh, shit. Really? You serious?
Get your dollars
Pulling up.
now.
But, yeah, anyway, continue with that thought while I tell you otherwise.
Jared is now just done.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned now.
But that's what's going to happen, right? All these Forge World stuff is going to be pulled out. Like the resin is going to go away.
Okay, you're clear from that. You got the Melta-Lance,
Yeah, they're all there now.
the cannon, and siege drill.
So are there 3 close combat weapons for it?
Okay.
No storm cannon.
Yeah.
2. Interesting. So if there was a separate kit.
Yeah, it's on there. Well,
no, I'm saying if there was a separate kit, like if there's a close combat one, right?
Yeah.
Well, and with
Would be 2 siege claws and a siege drill, maybe?
with
like that.
Forge World still producing Legion specific Leviathans, I doubt those are going to go away.
Ooh, that's a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to really, what are you going to buy a plastic model for?
Sure.
Well,
mean,
if,
it's
if
sad.
they wind up selling the upgrade
That being
sprue, though.
said, though,
Maybe.
there's only 3 Legion specific Leviathans here.
But they are bangers.
But hang on, are there any other? I'm trying to think of the other specific Legion Leviathans, or am I?
I think that's it.
There's 4. There's a Blood Angels one as well.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought they had the Jump Dreadnought, not the Leviathan.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, well, there you go.
oh, weird. Are you looking on the website? Because
Yeah, it's
the fuck?
I see it. Jesse's internet hates him.
Yeah, I don't get
Heard
it.
it here first.
Weird.
Maybe it's just like
Jesse just doesn't know how to work technology, guys. That's
not like Jared.
leave it to me. Leave it to me.
I'm just 3 layers deep in my VPN. Sorry, guys. And never know what hit them.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, with the, I don't know though. Just gonna be a wait and see there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, good times.
Yep, the new upgrade kits for the Imperial Fists and Sons of Horus are up.
Hooray! The Sons of Horus heads do look really good.
Yeah. A little sad about the Imperial Fist ones. I wish they had
They're
a
not
little-
great.
I mean, yeah. I wish
Give
they
me
had
beaks.
Yeah, it's weird saying that they're Mark 6 when they sure don't look like Mark 6,
No,
but
not at all.
I have to compare them, I guess the ears or something to
Those are okay Mark III heads.
Or Mark 8.
Yeah.
the Sons of Horse ones are dope as hell though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are real good. And
Somebody
honestly,
pointed out they'd look good on other legions as well.
they'd be
Like you
good
could-
Night Lords. They'd be good White Scar.
White Scars, yeah.
Like
Mhm. Good for any destroyer company or
World
whatever.
Leader,
yeah.
Any
given
destroyer, you know. I mean, everybody's an angel of death at some point. So
So it is nice. It's super duper nice that the new kits have 10 helmeted heads
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
and 1 unhelmeted. That's
So you don't
please
have,
do that in the future, my God.
so you don't have to worry about that one guy. It's like, sorry,
Yeah. For those
we
of us
ran
that
out of helmets.
don't want to paint faces.
Yeah. I've got, maybe 10 guys in my, 150, 160-ish
Yeah,
Imperial Fist army that don't have helmets on.
yeah. To be honest, like very rarely did I ever put all of those helmets on a specific unit anyway.
Yeah.
For the special stuff, yeah. But then again, I'm also very infantry light too, because
Well,
Daddy likes his heavy support tanks just taking up, 2/3 of his army list. So
Nah, you gotta get in there with a sea of bolters.
Yeah.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you're not
Sea of
beating
bolters.
the people to death on your own 2 feet, are you really a loyalist?
do you know that they're dead? Is the question. If you didn't bury a power axe in their forehead, how do you know?
Jared, I'm sorry. I'm going to only award you 3 points for that because I was clearly setting up a Dark Angels or Traitors joke and you just dropped it.
Well, they're dead when you drop an Excendio Automata on the planet. It's like, okay, we can just pull out now.
That's what she said.
I was waiting for some kind of pull-out joke there. Yeah.
Done. Cool. Well, yeah, that's what I'm looking. All right, 2 weeks.
2
Got
weeks.
one more week, and then week after.
Then the happy time.
Yeah.
The happy times come in again.
So much stuff to pick.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about the friggin' rhino, which
It's a plastic rhino. It's
it's
lovely.
great.
it's delightful.
I didn't get one yet, but
It's on my list to pick up, not even for 30K, but this is a great relic rhino for like Ink 28 war bands,
ooh,
something fancy for 40K.
I really think it looks
that's what I'm
better
gonna use
than
mine
the Forge World version.
It's the exact same model.
The detail's a little crisper. The
Well,
bolters are
it
a
is
little
an older model,
better.
right?
Yeah.
got
I've got a Forge World Rhino. Like
you got searchlights and
Yeah.
smoke cannons now. So
The
Yeah,
smoke launchers are sexy. Yeah, no, this is going to be straight up. I've got
good
an
times.
I've got an Ordo Excorium Inquisitor, and this is going to be their ride.
very cool.
Sexy.
so excited.
Yep. So here very soon. We're going to roll out here. Once again, thanks for listening to our podcast. Be sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to check us out at r30k.com. Let's see. Battlefleet Heresy, FAQ, maybe coming up. I just got to keep poking Austin on that.
Inshallah.
Good. Yeah.
Like we got a newborn.
Yeah. We got
He's 3 months old now, so that joke is becoming, or that excuse is less and less good. However,
I don't know.
there we go. That's what I need, Jared. That sort of support. I need to start really. I have a newborn. I have an infant now.
You're good for the next 3 years.
Delightful.
And even then,
we got the questions. We'll start answering them here very soon. At some point soon. If you like a program, be sure to check us out on patreon.com/R30K podcast. And as always, I'd like to thank all of our patrons, starting with our Legion Praetors, Alex Self, Captain Sasquatch, Chaplain Asar, Chris Mack, Gardner Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, Luke Rizzuto, Matthew Boyce, Michael Tisdall, Mr. Baldwick, Nicholas Quenga, Rena LaFloof, Sarah Luther, Taco Tuesday Bus 22 Rock and Roll McDonald's, What's Ligma, and Zachary Thompson. Our Legion Centurions, Aaron Maynard, Andrew N., Dave Jones, Duncan, M. Tanzer, Gorkrow, Nick Hilda, Richard Bork, Scott LeMay, and Void Imperatrix. And finally, our Legion Sergeants Agrippina, Aircraft Terrier, Emily O'Hare, Garrett Lowe, Jay DeSales, Jay Grammaticus, Jonathan Crane, Carl, Nicholas Gillen, Noah Atkins, The Zoe, and Travis Smith. Once again, thank you all, our patrons. We greatly appreciate it. And be sure to check us out on Discord. The link will be in the show notes. As far as that goes, that's everything I have. Once again, thank you all for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.
thank you for
This has been long. This has been a long episode.
Keep
Sorry.
those dice rolling.
Bye for now.
Thanks for indulging my rants.